So there's one other thing I want to talk about, and that is withdrawing support. Now, this I can tell you, I have had this conversation with thousands of families over my career. And the one common theme is when there's a patient who is not doing well and is going to pass away more than likely anyway, when we have the conversation with the family about withdrawing life support in those situations, that becomes a very difficult conversation. I think for most of us, one, we hope to never be in that situation. But if we're unfortunate enough to be in that situation where a healthcare professional is talking to you about withdrawing life support, that is something that goes against every bone in our body to take life support away from someone you love. But you really have to compartmentalize the situation and say, not what you want for your loved one, because we always want everything to be done for our loved one. But I think it's very important to take yourself out of the equation, even though you're being asked to make the decision, to say, what would my loved one, what would my mother, father, whoever, grandfather, what would they say if they could speak for themselves? And often when I tell families not to give me their decision, but tell me what their loved one would say if they could speak, if they could be right here and see what's going on, what they would say. And I think once people can make that transition in saying, I'm not telling you what I want, I'm telling you what he or she would want if he or she could see this. That absolves a lot of families from making that decision and feeling like it was their decision, which is, I think, the right thing. Because at the end of the day, your family is there to speak for you. No matter what their own personal biases or choices might be, in that situation, their only role is to speak for you because you cannot speak. And assuming you've had conversations with them in the past and told them what you would want in these kind of situations, they're simply a conduit of what you, the patient, would want. And therefore, I think you don't have to bear all the guilt of quote unquote withdrawing life support. I think when people push back on withdrawing life support, even when they themselves know there's no hope, I believe from my many years of doing this, it's often because they don't want to live with the fact that they were the ones that quote unquote pulled the plug, and live with the possibility, did they make the right decision? Did they make the wrong decision? But once you let them know it's not their decision actually, in fact, they have nothing to do with it. They're simply a messenger who's going back in time, understanding what you wanted, and they're simply conveying it. That removes them from any guilt associated with removing life support in a situation where there's no hope. If there's literally no hope, and that happens a lot, the family is there not to decide, yes, I think there's no hope, we should withdraw life support. I think they're there to say, there's no hope, and this is what my loved one would want and do if there was no hope. And I think all of us, if we think of it like that, all of us want our family members to convey what we've told them and not necessarily what they want. And the good thing about doing it like that is we're now simply a conduit conveying the message from the person who is going to have to live or die with the consequences, of our choice right there and then. So it's important to let them decide for themselves by us simply being the messenger of what they would have wanted.